Hey, it's been a little while since I've done a market update, so I wanted to bring one to you because a whole lot has happened, especially since the last time I did a market update, but let alone just in this year, right? Don't have to tell you that a lot has happened in this year. You know it, you're experiencing it, etc. But I want to let you know what's gone on in real estate so far this year and what it could mean for the next months to come and what it could mean for the rest of 2020. So I put together a presentation for you, a market update report, and I want to go through it with you right now. So we are looking at today is July 30th. We're finished. We have already finished out 2 quarters in the year. We're 1 month, full month into the third quarter of 2020, and real estate is moving at a fast pace right now. So what I want to do is explain to you exactly what's going on in macro market, meaning what's happening in the real estate market throughout the country. Then I'm going to go into micro market. I'm going to go super micro and just talk to you about Roseville. However, Roseville is its own little micro market within the greater Sacramento area, right? So I'm just going to talk about Roseville for this purpose. And then I want to talk about some client success stories, what some of our clients have been doing to be successful in real estate in this time, in the COVID-19 selling season. And then lastly, I'm going to give you some advice on what to do next if you're interested in, if you're a homeowner, what to do next. If you are a home buyer, if you're both, right? You have a home that you have to sell and you want to buy a different one. I'll give you some resources. So let's jump straight into it. I want to talk to you about the macro market, what's going on in the country. So here's some interesting slides. I have about 12 of them to show you. And it just talks about, well, here we go. This particular slide is about mortgage forbearance. You might hear a lot about foreclosures in the coming months, right? That's the common question I get is, aren't we going to have a bunch of foreclosures because people are unemployed and they can't pay their mortgage anymore, so they're going to let it go? And I totally understand that way of thinking. However, that way of thinking and people have lost their jobs and they're going to lose their homes. 2008 was a long time ago, 12 years ago now, but it's still very fresh, and that seeing what happened in the real estate market at the time is still very real for a lot of people. Just because you can't afford to pay your mortgage doesn't mean you have to foreclose on your home. You think about back then in 2008, well, yeah, you were upside down. You didn't have any equity. Maybe you were in a loan that was going to, the rate was an adjustable rate loan. It wasn't a fixed rate. Your mortgage payment was not only could you not afford your mortgage payment, but it was about to change. And not only could you not get, was your mortgage payment about to change, but you couldn't get out of your house because you actually owed more on your house than what it was worth. So anyhow, just because people can't afford to pay their mortgage anymore, or maybe they're losing their job and mortgage forbearance, there's still 77% of the people throughout the country that are past due on their mortgage payment have at least 20% equity in their home. And we'll get into the numbers in a little bit, but we're in an appreciating market. So chances are those folks aren't going to be giving their home back to the bank and foreclosing on it completely. The high level of equity provides options for homeowners, policymakers, mortgage investors, and servicers in helping to avoid downstream foreclosure activity and default-related losses. So there are policies in place. The high amount of equity is what's going to help people avoid foreclosures. 87% of home sellers are concerned their home won't sell because of the pandemic and resulting economic recession. Yet, 372,000 homes sold last month in the United States. I like this quote. because it goes to show, if you followed my monthly market update or weekly market update at the time back in May, I was talking about how the real estate market would bring the real estate market was slated to bring us out of a recession. It was going to be one of the contributors to help the GDP and bring us out of the recession. And I like this quote because it says, as we navigate through the unprecedented impact of COVID-19, home has taken on an added significance. And there are signs that home ownership remains one of the main tenets of the American dream. Think about, some people's portfolios went down drastically with the volatility of the stock market. We are in our homes much more now. Home ownership has become more important than ever. I talked to someone recently, and they're given a notice, 60-day notice. They have to get out of their house because they're renting it, and they want to buy now. They weren't planning on buying for another year, but they don't ever want to be in a situation where we're in a pandemic. You can't even go to, a restaurant in some cases where they're being told to leave their home. They don't want that feeling, and home ownership, I think, is more important than ever before. So that's why I shared that quote with you. I love this one. So this is just overall stats for the country month over month. New pending sales. This is just July. So new pending sales up 18.8%. New listings taken up 5.2. So that's great. We're definitely not experiencing that here. New listings, total listings down 20% year over year. So in comparison to last July, and new listings taken is down 16% year over year. So pendings are up, new properties are down, meaning there's not many of them coming. This is fun. I like this graph for you guys, this chart, because this is actually a crystal ball. So how many times have you heard people say, if I only had a crystal ball? Well, here are the projections. Almost every category or every person surveyed is projecting home prices to continue to appreciate through 2022. Now, if you notice, we don't have massive gains here for the home price expectation survey, but we have gains. They even said a little bit under. So 4%, 3%, 0.4%, 2%, not sure, 3%, 2%. So we're seeing still positive appreciation. So for all of us that are wondering, will this market continue? It seems kind of crazy right now. If you're following it at all, it might seem crazy. If you're wondering if prices are going to drop, well, maybe by these calculations, or by this only one person said negative appreciation in 2020, and nobody said depreciation in 21 or 22. There's your crystal ball. The severity of inventory tightness should remain a relative benefit to home prices, but is also a risk factor to the degree of rebound in unit sales going forward. And to me, what this means is that because inventory levels are so low right now, that's why we're seeing an appreciation. We're seeing record numbers, we're seeing appreciation, and it's because inventory levels are low. It's also the risk factor because as more homes come to the market and satisfy the demand, we might see, that big rebound kind of flatten out a little bit. This is interesting too. So all of us that live here in the Roseville, Sacramento area, we're seeing a lot more people coming from out of town, right? We're seeing a lot of Bay Area folks coming up this way, Southern California coming up this way. We're seeing people from outside of our area that are moving up to the suburban areas, getting out of the city. And this was an interesting stat. Across the country, 30% of people living in high density urban areas say the pandemic is what's prompting them to want to move by the end of the year. So for all of us that say their Bay Area folks are just moving here because of the better prices, that's not actually true. They're moving here because they're feeling like they're being pushed out of urban areas. They want to get a little bit more elbow room, want to be in a place that's not so population dense. And this just goes to show the same thing. 16% were looking for rural areas, 13% looking for suburban, and 7% looking for urban. This was cool too. Second home markets. Obviously, we are not in a second home market here, but I was just talking to my dad actually today about homes in Truckee. We love Truckee. I'll be going up there, this weekend actually, and we're seeing second home markets incredibly active right now. And this doesn't exactly speak to why. I'm definitely not a second home market specialist, so I couldn't say. But across the country, we're seeing an increase in luxury properties as second home properties, increase in activity in those second home markets. All right, cool. So those are slides I just want to share with you. Now I'm going to share with you what I know and live and breathe and see every single day, and that's the micro market. That's Roseville. Okay, so I want to remind you of this slide if you hadn't seen it, if you don't remember it from May. Here it is. 52.9% of people in Roseville have more than 50 or at least 50% or more equity in their home. And this stemmed from the conversation around, are we going to see foreclosures? Is this 2008? And the reason it's not is because half of the people that live here in Roseville have more than 50% equity in their home. Chances are they are not going to just give that back to the bank, and the bank doesn't really necessarily want it. They're not equipped to handle a massive amount of foreclosures and servicing like they did in the past. And honestly, there's no need to do that. You can just put your home out on the market. You can sell it. Maybe if you absolutely have to sell it right away, you list it low. And guess what? If you list it low in this market, it's going to drive the price right back up. So there's really, you don't have to foreclose. And nobody in Roseville, the majority of people in Roseville will not have to let go of, much equity in their home at all. I just wanted to kind of give you this for some context. So here, this is real estate activity from 2005 up to 2020 in Roseville. Okay, the light green are the number of homes that went up for sale. The dark green are the number of homes that actually sold. If you notice here, this dark green stays pretty consistent throughout, time. It upticks a little bit over the last few years, definitely more buyer activity than what was happening in 2005 and 2006 even, but far less homes that are on the market. So demand stays relatively the same, although there is an uptick. We're, closer to 250 here versus, in some cases only 150, 100. I think a lot of that just has to do with population growth, right? The city is growing. But the number of homes that people buy stays pretty similar, and the number of homes for sale goes drastically down. Now, this is even a closer look. This is from the last 5 years, from 2015 to 2020, where we see we're still trending downward in the number of homes for sale. And then just as we were going into, here's the pandemic, we're at record low numbers here. And this is what's really interesting. I'm going to dig into this in just a second, is we actually had more homes sell than we had homes list for sale. Okay. That is the first time almost in the history that we've seen that big of a gap between the dark green and the light green. Normally the light green's on top because those are the homes for sale. This time we're seeing the dark green actually exceed the light green. 2019 closings, 1,389 homes sold in Roseville from January to July in 2019. Median price of $470, an average size house of about 2,084 square feet. In 2020, so you remember 1,389, in 2020, 1,261 homes sold in 2020. That's 10% less homes that sold in 2020 for a median price of $485 versus $471 last time. Average size, 2,031 square feet. So we have an uptick in price and we have actually a decrease in size. Currently active on the market right now, we have 170 properties available on the market right now. I'm going to talk to you about the significance of that in just a second. Median price, $539. So the median price for the year is $485. The current median price on the market right now is $539,000. Okay. So what does this mean? Let's look at the last year over year. So I'm going to break it down even further. The last year over year in real estate. This is the last 12 months. Remember, we talked about the big gap, the difference between the dark green and the light green. Light green being the homes available, dark green being the homes that actually sold. Okay, so for 2019, here we go. There's a gap between the dark green and light green, but you see pretty consistently more homes list for sale than they actually do sell, generally speaking. And then here's where we start to see this big uptick. Now, 198 homes hit the market in June. 247 homes hit the market in May. We saw a little bit of pent-up demand. But look at it in comparison. You look back, you look at June of 2019, and you have 300 homes on the market. You look at May, you have 300. You look at April, you have 300. You look at, July, 300. And you remember from the last slide, we only have 170 on the market right now. And then you look at August of 2019, you have 354. The reason I show you this is because if you see here, we have more pending homes, 275. More homes went pending than even listed last month. So 275 homes are in June. What does that mean? It means if you were to put your home on the market right now, there is more demand. There are more buyers looking for your home than ever before. You have less competition. There's not that many homes on the market. And of all times, we talk about timing sometimes, right? I get the question, when is the best time to put my home on the market? And I usually give some sort of answer that really doesn't answer their specific question, but it's usually about what it means for their lifestyle, what they want to do, etc. But my point is that, generally speaking, there's no perfect one time. I mean, we sell homes all year long. We can accomplish your goals basically no matter when you want to put your home on the market. However, the best time to put your home on the market is when there are fewer other homes on the market. That's when you're going to increase the amount of, that's when you can increase your exposure. That's when you can get multiple offers. That's when you get the bidding war and the frenzy. That's when you can sell your home for the highest possible price. So that's what we're experiencing right now. I want to share a client success story. These guys, these are my two pioneers of the pandemic. These are my pioneers of COVID-19 selling. They had their home, Mike and Susan had their home on the market, and so did Daniel and Carrie. They had their home on the market before the pandemic, or before the stay-at-home order was given. So these guys literally pioneered selling and buying during the middle of COVID-19. And I just wanted to, give a special shout out to them. I'm actually going to do a postcard for them because they're awesome and they literally push through. So both of them successfully sold, bought a new home, and did it all during COVID-19. It was a big success. So super excited for those guys. There's more. We have 32 success stories for this year. About, I think, 19 of them were during COVID. But I just want to give a special shout out to these two. This little slide, what does this slide mean? This is a picture. This is a picture, and it represents, here I have 16 pictures of me, right? These are all screenshots from videos that I've sent out. And actually, it's missing a couple, but it's a secret tool that I'm using to get offers accepted. And without giving away too much of my secret sauce, I basically am doing, right now is an incredibly competitive time. There's multiple offers. And so what I'm doing is I'm actually sending out a video to the listing agent when presenting offers, explaining to them the buyer situation, helping them to choose our buyer versus all the other offers that they're considering. These 16 right here represent the accepted offers. So we are 18 accepted offers out of 20 offers sent. So my videos seem to be working. I'm on somewhat of a winning streak here, and I just wanted to share that with you guys. What's next? What should you do next? Okay, I'll tell you what you should do next. You should I'll tell you. Hold on. Sorry. You should go to my website. You should go to, if you're thinking about buying or selling a home, you should go to my website. You should go to the buy a home tab or the sell a home tab. You should go, if you're a homeowner and you're thinking about selling, you should go to the seller's FAQ page on our website. We just put a ton of content out there and answered literally 60 questions from home sellers about how to prepare your home for the market. And that's on our site, and it's also on our YouTube page. Look at all the properties we have listed. You could check out our selling advice page. You could check out the recent Q&A tribe calls that we've done, all on YouTube. Most importantly, if you're ready to take the next step, if you want to talk about how your home value has changed, if you want to talk about actually taking advantage of this time, this is the critical message that I'd like to send here. If you want to talk about taking advantage of what's going on in the market right now, you want to put your home on the market during a time where nobody else's home is really on. You want to, crush any competition. You want to, capitalize on what's happening right now and sell your home for top dollar. Then schedule an appointment with me. Go to my website, click on the selling tab, schedule an appointment with me. Let's get something on the calendar right now so that I can help you be successful in real estate. All right. Thanks, guys, for watching my market update. I know it was full. I know there was a lot of content that I poured at you right now. So if you have any questions, please let me know. If you've been watching for this whole 23 minutes, thank you. I appreciate you. And let me know how I can help.